Welcome to the Pete Della Torre Business Program Entrepreneurial Hour, hosted by Pete Della Torre, President and CEO of the Renatus Group. The Pete Della Torre Business Program will discuss economic development and business opportunities for South Florida. The Pete Della Torre Business Program is sponsored by Great Florida Bank, Esserman International, Community Newspapers, Titan America, and Holiday Inn Coral Gables.
Good morning, South Florida. This is Pete Della Torre, and welcome to the Pete Della Torre Business Program for an August 8, 2012. Thank you so much for joining us today. If I tell you that we have a packed lineup of terrific guests, it would be an understatement, but we do have a terrific show planned for this morning. The call-in number here, if you want to get a hold of us, if you have a question for any one of our guests, is 305-541-2350. And before I get into the lineup for today, I just want to remind everybody that next Tuesday, the 14th of August, is Election Day. No, this is not for the presidential race, but probably even more important for all of us here are the local races. The county has their mayoral race. There's a lot of races for school board positions and judges. So if you have the privilege of being a voter, if you are registered, you need to go out there and vote, my friends. This is a privilege that we have in this country, and it's very important that you exercise that privilege. And if you want to make a difference, you want your voice to be heard, I strongly suggest you get out there next Tuesday and vote. Of course, this show every week has two segments: the Entrepreneur Hour from 10 to 11 a.m. and then the Power Hour. We'll talk a little bit later on about the Power Hour and who's going to be on today. Let me share with you my guest during the first hour. We have here in studio a really good friend of mine, a local gem in the community. That's Dr. Jerry Har. He is the Associate Dean and Professor of the College of Business Administration at FIU and the Director of the Eugenio Pino and Family Global Entrepreneur Center. I know that there's a shorter version of that, but I want to be correct here and give the full name of the center. We're going to talk a little bit about that in a moment. My second guest, this is going to be a long-distance interview from Iowa, is a gentleman by the name of John Hansen. He is a senior director of a group from there called, the acronym is NRMCA. And this particular group is based out of the Midwest, and it's actually called the National Ready Mixed Concrete Association. Now, John is here courtesy of one of my program sponsors, Titan America, a local company here in South Florida, who has recently partnered up with me on this great show. My third guest, of course, we have our weekly partnership and segment with Great Florida Bank. Here for a return visit is Jorge Montero, Relationship Manager for the Little Havana Solution Center on 8th Street. And a special guest, one of his clients, Yosvani Camacho. He is the owner of Yosvi Natural Baskets, and he's got some really cool things he does with baskets, and they will be on towards the latter part of the first hour. So as you can tell, we have a great lineup today. And what I want to do right now is introduce, without further ado, my first guest. And again, he took the time to come out here. He's a very, very busy guy, but nonetheless, he's here with us this morning. And this is my good friend, Dr. Jerry Har from FIU. What's happening, my friend?
Hey, good morning. Thank you very much, Pete, for the opportunity. Love your show. Listen to it all the time. I'm an avid listener, and now I guess I'm an avid guest.
You're an avid guest. And, the door will be open here, so be careful. You just created a monster, man. I'm going to be emailing you every week. Come back. So I think this is going to be a lot of fun here, my friend.
Good.
Before we move on and talk about the center and all the wonderful things you're doing there, tell the listeners a little bit about yourself.
Okay, I currently am a professor of management and international business at FIU. I'm also associate dean of business there, and I am director of the Pino Entrepreneurship Center. I grew up in Baltimore, and I grew up in the family business. My father was a self-made man, born overseas, came to this country, a true entrepreneur, captured the American dream, and I worked in that business part-time since I was 13 years of age. Went away to college, did graduate school at Johns Hopkins, Columbia, and Harvard, and I worked in academe, government, and for multinational corporations, and I came to Miami in 1984. First started out at FIU, then I went over to UM, and now I'm back at FIU, and I just cannot say enough wonderful things about the place. There's nowhere else I would rather be. It's a fabulous institution, back-to-back outstanding presidents, and it's on an upward trajectory.
Well, that is another understatement because FIU is exploding. I mean, literally is exploding. All you have to do is take a drive out there, and you can see the construction going on, the different buildings that are happening, the new schools, of course, the law school and I mean, the list goes on. And I know that the university has big plans to continue to grow in the area. I've heard about some of the other cool things that are happening down the road, that including housing for students, and I know there was also an interest in I know that you've been in conversations with Tamiami Park about expansions there. Right. So it is. I remember I went there in the late 70s, early 80s. There were only 4 buildings at the time, I think. Yeah, 4 buildings, and the PC building was the famous Primera Casa. Right. Was the place to be at there. So what this university has done in terms of its growth and the impact, and the only, I think, U.S. university with a campus in China, and that's incredible. Talk about international university. That says it all right there.
Right.
And that is terrific stuff. So, Jerry, the Pino Global Family Center, tell us a little bit about how that became a reality and what inspired the university to do that.
Well, the Pino Center was actually created in 2003 thanks to our current executive dean, Joyce Elam, our graduate dean at the time, Jose de la Torre, and, of course, strong support from Mitch Medic, the president. What was the inspiration for that? Pete, look, we're an entrepreneurial university in an entrepreneurial city with an entrepreneurial student body. It was only natural that such a center be created. It's in our DNA. This is what makes us unique, distinct, really an exciting place to be. And in 2003, we had the good fortune in a national competition from the Kauffman Foundation in Kansas City, which is the preeminent foundation in the United States that supports entrepreneurship at universities. We were one of 8 campuses selected to be a Kauffman campus, and that meant funding of several $1 million over 5 years. And we've leveraged that funding to be able to do really creative things that respond to the needs, current and anticipated, of our community here in South Florida.
I know that with anything, any undertaking, there are some specific goals and strategies and objectives. What in your opinion, are the core objectives of the center?
Well, the center's mission, objectives come out of what our mission is, and that is to create entrepreneurial leaders and organizations in all segments of society through South Florida and international. That is private, nonprofit, even public for that matter. An entrepreneurial, creative way of approaching problems is not the exclusive domain of the private sector, even though it's private. The private sector dominates what we do. So what do? We provide knowledge and contacts that enable people to reach their entrepreneurial objective of designing and launching new ventures, but also what makes us pretty distinct is we also focus on established firms, small and medium-sized enterprises that want to move to the next level, and we equip them through mentoring and coaching and putting them in touch with people that can help them tremendously to move to that level and be sustainable.
I think that a center like the Pino Center is, I think, more important than ever, especially after this deep recession, and we're still not out of it yet. And they talk about the new normal, the new economy, the new world, on and on and on. But today, with all the challenges that are out there, and so many good people in midstream in their careers are being displaced, right, and they're at a crossroads, and many of them, unfortunately, at our age or time in their life, where a lot of companies are not taking a serious look at them. They have a great pedigree, a great background, so they're left with, now what? And I think that many of them, in the back of their minds, have been thinking, I'd love to open up a business one day. I have this, thing that I want to do that, but I've never had the courage to do it. Well, I can speak for myself. I was at a point last year where I said, moving forward, if I don't create my own entity, if I don't really become and embrace being an entrepreneur, I may be standing in the streets with a big sign saying, need food or I'm hungry for food. I think the name of an FIU and the resources available there are going to allow a lot of these folks to make their dreams come true. And what message would you want to send out to those individuals that want to be an entrepreneur and have that dream, and what do you think a penal center can do for them?
Okay, before I answer that, let me just get back to a very important point that you made. Given the fact that a lot of people say, well, the recession has ended, and if it comes, from my point of view, analyzing markets, the recession hasn't ended.
Correct.
And just because, some luxury properties are being sopped up and what have you, you can just walk around, take a look at the sad state of Coconut Grove, for example, where I live, for example. You have a couple places like Lulu's and Green Streets and George's doing very well, but you see a lot of empty storefronts, and you see that all over. That probably is a better barometer of economic reality than aggregate statistics, okay?
Absolutely.
But back to what you said. You're a talented guy. You have a lot of different choices. There are two kinds of entrepreneurs. Opportunity entrepreneurs, say like yourself, you want to seize an opportunity, and necessity entrepreneurs. What do I mean by that? One of the highest levels of entrepreneurship in the world is in Venezuela. Why? These are necessity entrepreneurs, okay? Because under that ruthless socialist dictator, that country is going to hell in a handbasket. And talented individuals have two choices. Either get out of there and come here or elsewhere, or stay and create their own business. And whether you're an opportunity or necessity entrepreneur, if you have that drive to be able to take that risk, you will. And what my center does is we provide coaching and mentorship. We offer, let me give you an example of some of the things we do. We have a very affordable series of webinars and workshops on a host of practical topics. For example, how to develop a killer business plan, best options for funding for your business. This is not academic, mind-numbing stuff. This is practical. It's timely. It's relevant. We work in the real world of business, even though we're in an excellent university. We have an Institute for Family Business that provides up-to-date knowledge for family firms on governance, on management, how best to resolve conflicts. Yeah, we take a look at tax laws. We take a look at healthcare requirements under the new Obamacare, for example. What does this mean for small firms? How can they entrepreneurial look at the different options, maximize their profits, and at the minimal stay afloat in this kind of economy? So those are the kinds of things that we do at that level. At the same time, we have a signature event, Pete, that your audience should know about called the America's Venture Capital Conference, going into our third year. That brings together venture capitalists and entrepreneurial firms in South Florida and all over Latin America and the Caribbean to do deals. It is in its third year. We have probably generated responsibly from that conference over $100 million in deals. This will be at the JW Marriott on December 13th and 14th. We expect, with a heavy tech focus and startup focus this year, to bring the rock stars of the industry, startups from the Silicon Valley, from Europe and Latin America, elsewhere, to this event. That's one of the things that we do in that particular space. And finally, again, we do coaching and mentoring. We're very big in pushing on startups. This Friday, as a matter of fact, jointly with AT&T, we're doing a hackathon, which is a contest to develop usable software, and that is going to be at the Life Sciences Technology Park downtown. We recently, in May, worked hand in glove with IBM. They came to us to do something called a Smart Camp, where they were able to bring in companies in the healthcare services and technology area and compete. We provided like speed dating kind of mentoring for them, and they went and they presented. So those are the kinds of things we do. We cover the gamut. But what we do, it's timely, it's relevant, it's measurable, and it responds to the needs of existing and fledgling entrepreneurs.
That is a phenomenal program. And all of you that are listening this morning, you need to tune in and get a hold of Jerry and his team at the university, because one of the things Jerry just said right this very second, relevant. You've got to be relevant. You've really truly have to make a difference. And I hear so many folks out there, and there's a lot of talk, but the types of things that they're doing there are making a difference in the community. We're about out of time here, Jerry, and this is a topic that deserves a much longer dialogue, and we're going to have you back. And I think what I'd like to do down the road is kind of take apart the center and some of the specific initiatives and elaborate on that a little bit. But if the listeners want more information, what is the best way to get that?
Okay, yeah, we would love to get your feedback, listeners. Our URL is www.entrepreneurship.fiu.edu. Our office number is 305-348-7156. I'll repeat, 305-348-7156. When you call, you have any question, say you heard this on Pete De La Torre's show, and I can't promise you a discount on any of the things we charge, but nonetheless, it's really good for us and for Pete, and it just keeps this great show going, and it's a wonderful thing all around. So I want to thank you for inviting me on the show,
for coming out.
And I would love to come back. Anything I can do, and any listener that wants to call in and talk to me personally, I would love to hear from you.
You know, to get that sort of an offer, my folks, that's important there. So take him up on that, okay? So, Jerry, thank you, my friend.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming out
here.
We're going to go to a break, and we'll be right back with the Pete De La Torre Business Program.
We'll be right back with the Pete De La Torre Business Program, sponsored by Great Florida Bank, Esserman International, Community Newspapers, Titan America, and Holiday Inn Coral Gables.
Hi, I'm Pete De La Torre, host of the Renata's Business Hour show. Do you hate your bank? Don't care? Are you tired of never being able to contact your banker and getting charged a fee for almost everything you do? Always being in the back of the line? If so, you might want to listen to what I have to say about my bank, Great Florida Bank. Here I get personalized, concierge-style service. And now is a great time to sign up for Great Florida Bank's Merchant Services Mobile Credit Card Processing Solution. Their team will take a look at your processing needs, and if a mobile solution works for you, they'll give you a mobile card reader for free. If Great Florida Bank can't meet or beat your current processing rates, you'll receive $500. And I'm going to share one of Great Florida Bank's best-kept secrets. They never charge customers to use ATMs nationwide. Plus, if another bank charges you an ATM fee, they reimburse that ATM fee anywhere in the U.S. At Great Florida Bank, they take pride in offering personalized customer service and even give their customers their cell number. If you want a banking experience like mine, the Great Florida Bank Standard of Banking, call my personal banker, Odulio Piedra, Great Florida Bank's Miami-Dade Market President. Call his cell, 305-514-6450, and tell Odulio I sent you.
Today, everyone wants to be environmentally responsible, but you can't recycle your way to sustainability. Real sustainability goes far beyond recycling and requires us to consider the three competing factors at work in our world: the economy, the environment, and society. By choosing concrete as your preferred building and paving material, you will achieve sustainable results in all three areas. Concrete's durability allows homes and structures built with concrete or concrete block to withstand Florida's severe weather and keep your family safe within your financial means. Concrete roads and parking lots are also very affordable, have much cooler surface temperatures, and last 3 to 5 times longer than asphalt, providing a much higher value for the money on public projects funded with your tax dollars. Lastly, concrete pavements allow shorter stopping distance in both wet and dry conditions and are reflective, providing safer conditions and better visibility at night for both pedestrians and motorists while using less energy at a lower overall cost. Choose concrete, the material for life. A message from Titan America, one of Florida's leading cement and concrete manufacturers. Visit them at titanamerica.com or call them at 954-481-2800.
Forever Smile Dentistry is dedicated to serve patients in our community. Their state-of-the-art technology allows them to offer you and your family the highest level of care you're looking for. They will give you a warm welcome and ongoing commitment to your dental health and beauty. Dr. Amaral and her experienced team are committed to excellence by providing you with the highest quality and ethical treatment modern dentistry has to offer. They work with their patients so they can achieve and maintain a beautiful smile and healthier gums and teeth. They take the time with their patients to explain their treatment options and inform them of additional preventative care. They feel this will lead to a more trusting doctor-patient relationship and, for many people, relieve the stress about seeing a dentist. Have you ever dreamed of that perfect smile? Well, here is where your dreams come true. Visit their website, www.foreversmiledentistry.com. To make an appointment, call 305-274-0425. Welcome back to the Pete Della Torre Business Program, sponsored by Great Florida Bank, Esserman International, Community Newspapers, Titan America, and Holiday Inn Coral Gables.
Welcome back, my friends, to the Pete Della Torre Business Program, and a big thank you to Dr. Jerry Harr from FIU. Just some phenomenal work they're doing at the Penal Center, Entrepreneurship Center at FIU and its entire team. And we're definitely going to have Jerry back on the show here soon. He's going to bring some of his key partners at the university, and what we want to do is really take apart a little bit more the different services and the programs that the center is offering to the community at large. I think it's for everyone, existing entrepreneurs and the people out there that want to own their own business. This is a really good resource for all of you there. Now it is my pleasure to bring on to the show, long distance from the Midwest, gentlemen. We had a great conversation last week on the phone. He is the senior director of the National Ready Mix Concrete Association. It's based out of Washington, D.C., but they've got offices around the country. And interesting topic, of course. He comes courtesy of Titan America, one of our partners here on the show. And that is, of course, John Hansen. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Pete.
How are you today?
I'm great, and you?
Well, thank you for coming on the show.
Sounds like a good show so far.
Well, we try to get out good information, and that happens with the type of guests that we have here, including yourself. And we did have a great conversation last week over the phone. It's I got to meet the folks from Titan America, of course, Mike Zitto, and then Tim Keebler. Had him on the show a few weeks ago, and it's a very interesting topic. I think it gives us a choice, and I think that you can elaborate a little bit more on that. But before we do that, I'd like for the listeners to learn a little bit more about you.
Well, it's interesting, Pete, that we had this conversation a week ago, and I shared with you something that I'm now going to share with the listeners in Florida and all your listeners on your program. Is I work for the National Ready Mix Concrete Association. We represent the concrete producers across the United States, but I grew up in the road building business, but the asphalt road building business. In 1942, my father went to Alaska to help build the Alaskan Highway, right after the beginning of World War II, and it came back, and that started the significance of the number 42 in this interview. He came back and spent another 42 years in the Midwest in the road building business, but always building asphalt roads. Retiring in 1984, I look back just recently, and I look at my career, and now I've been in the construction industry 42 years, but having grown up in the asphalt road building family, I've never been involved in asphalt road building. I've always had a focus towards concrete. So that's kind of my quick background is we've been a family that's built things for years, but I'm the first one to come away from the asphalt side and look at concrete.
And go to the other side, right?
So to speak.
Tell us a little about your organization.
The National Ready Mix Concrete Association is based in Washington, D.C., or Silver Spring, Maryland, which is in the shadow of D.C. It's an organization that's been around since 1930. It's involved in a lot of different aspects of ready-mix concrete production, and this is primarily local ready-mix concrete production. Everything from advocacy on the Hill to environmental issues to code, sustainability, engineering, testing, certification for new technology, bringing emerging technologies forward, which is part of what my team does, to some of the largest users of ready-mix concrete and other building materials across the United States. So we've been around, 1930, we've been around for a few years. We've got some great experiences and some great people that we work with through the years, and we are looked at as probably the go-to place for anything to do with local ready-mix production across the nation.
What are the key objectives, initiatives of the organization?
Well, of my team in general, the initiatives, because we're just, I'm part of a team of 5, and we work with the largest users of building material across the United States at any given time. And as you might guess, that could change from year to year as the economy changes and different parts of the economy take off and other parts slow down. We're working with moving targets, and that could be all the way from the big box retailer to cities that have aggressive paving programs to the government, who's the largest landholder in the United States. The other entities then are working with government regulations. You can't hardly pick up a construction trade publication and not see something to do with construction and government regulations, so we have groups that work with that. And, of course, engineering departments who are looking at emerging technologies and being on the top and leading edge of making sure things are done correctly. But primarily the team I work with, and that's why I'm based in Des Moines, and we have people based in Florida, in the Northeast, and in the Southwest. We're positioned all across the United States, and one of the criteria is that we're just close to a good airport, so we can get where we need to be to work in these issues that you and I are going to talk about today, is how we make better known the qualities of probably the most widely used but most misunderstood building material in the world, and that's ready-mix concrete.
Well, we had a great conversation the other day on the phone, and some specific examples of the reality of what we're all accustomed to, especially here in Florida, which is asphalt. And why don't you share with the listeners a couple of the things that you and I discussed the other day, because I find it very, very fascinating.
Well, one of the things that I brought up first in our conversation that I was kind of blown away with, because here in the upper Midwest, we use a lot more concrete than you do in Florida, and I picked up a couple of things from Tim's interview when he was on. He said 98% of all paving in Florida is asphalt. I'm in a place where over 60% of all paving is concrete, and we have larger markets in...
Welcome to the second hour of the Pete Delatorre Business Program, Power Hour, hosted by Pete Delatorre, President and CEO of the Renatus Group. The Pete Delatorre Business Program will discuss economic development and business opportunities for South Florida. The Pete Delatorre Business Program is sponsored by Great Florida Bank, Esserman International, Community Newspapers, Titan America, and Holiday Inn Coral Gables.
Welcome back, my friends, to the second hour of the Pete Delatorre Business Program. This is the Power Hour. This is a segment where we bring in the movers and the shakers and the large institutions, the economic engines that are making our local economy grow in spite of all the difficulties out there. And I tell you, I am absolutely honored with my first guest here today, joining us live in the studio. And this gentleman is in hot demand. He is all over the place, but what they have done in the airport is, it's just short of amazing in the last handful of years. And of course, we're talking about Miami International Airport, the number one economic engine in Miami-Dade County, I think to the tune of over $26 billion a year. I think those numbers are probably increasing as we speak here today. But I want to go ahead and bring onto the show a gentleman who I met about 6 years ago when I was with the Doral Business Council. He was a keynote speaker, and then he was honored the second year as the International Achievement Award recipient. And that, of course, is Jose Abreu, the aviation director at Miami International Airport. Jose, welcome to the show.
Great to be here, Pete.
Thank you for everything. And Jose is the perfect example of a guy that's energetic, and that energy has been contagious at everything that is going on in the airport. And I just got breaking news. There was a press release regarding just yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, Jose, that now the airport is more affordable in relation to lowering the aircraft landing fees, correct?
That is correct. We had a great year, Pete, and obviously we passed those savings to the airlines.
Now, I was reading very quickly when on my phone here the actual impact, and I know that Mayor Jimenez had a comment regarding that, but what will that do for the economic development of Miami-Dade County?
I think is absolutely great news. What's happening is, and it's testament to Miami and South Florida, because people, as you know, do travel through airport, but they don't go see airports. Be that as it may, because of everything that we've done there, we're now able to accommodate greater loads. And we never did have an airfield capacity restriction. So therefore, we really are growing. Since 2007, no other airport in the United States has grown internationally the way we have. And people and passengers equates to money. So you bet you're going to see the next set of figures associated with the economy down here out of the airport to be more than the 26 billion you just talked about. Internationally, we've grown nearly 9% over 9%. It is just incredible. The rest of the nation is either flat or not growing as much. From the European carriers, you think about the depressed economic situation in Europe today, and yet our European airlines have grown 24% at MIA. And none of us could have predicted that. So, because we're residual cost airport, which means that the airlines do, guarantee our existence, it's just great news for them. It's a 9% reduction in their landing fees.
And when you add it up, the numbers are staggering.
Oh, it is huge because, for example, we were able to roll forward at $85 million for next year's budget, which allows us to even pay the debt service for the people mover, for example, a prepaid a year ahead, and that's good for the ratings. So it's frankly, and modesty aside, is good for the economy, but the airport is doing financially very, very well.
You just mentioned it a minute ago, is that the airport isn't just a place to land and take off planes. It's becoming now a tourist destination.
I mean, I got to tell you, the concessions program, that was master planned a little bit before I got there in 2004, and we've been able to successfully implement it. Pete, we're selling. Let me just give you an example. The Wendy's, right, is relatively a small facility, about D17 around there. That place is selling over $13,000 a day. So last year we sold about $1 billion, for which the airport gets to keep, anywhere between 12 and 18%.
And that's great because you're not doing it with tax dollars, correct?
Correct. That's totally correct. The airport, and this is a discussion that we have to have all the time whenever something doesn't go right, they say, oh, my taxpayers' dollars. The fact of the matter is that the airport is, in fact, county governance, but financially it's a residual cost, which means that the airlines completely guarantee the existence of the airport. And so what happens is when times are good, like they're now, we go right ahead and reduce their landing fees. And 9%, for an airline, that could be a savings of for American, for example, it could be $2 to $3 million a month of savings.
They're all going to want to come to Miami. A presence here,
or grow if they're already here.
Now you've had there's so much going on. I mean, I don't even know where to start here, but I know just the recent news, and one that I think is great for the county and something that should have been there a long time ago. It's the new Metro Rail Orange Line right into the airport. Tell us about that, because that's exciting news.
It really is, and I think you're right. I mean, I was like in 10th grade, right, when the first when the first referendum
just the other day, right?
When the first referendum about Metro Rail came to the voters, and it was clear back then to all of us that the intent was to go to the airport. I mean, if you want to be a world-class city, and I think we are, you have got to have public transportation going to the airport. We know what happened, and it took a while, but for sure it's already there, and what a great looking station Miami-Dade Transit was able to build, and that project, by the way, came in on time and on budget as well. And so it's been there since last week, and for example, I just take Metro Rail and go downtown to do my business over there. It's just so convenient.
It really is. And the thing about it is, when you think about all the people that are coming and going through the airport, and just getting someone to drop them off, to pick them up, to having to park in the airport. I mean, they can go through Dayland South, for instance, if they live down there, take the station and go into the airport. Absolutely,
and it's $2 that they ride, but you can park in one of those any of those Metro Rail stations for $4 a day. You know, obviously our parking structure at the MIA is a little bit more expensive,
more secure, a little bit better. Absolutely.
But it's more expensive as well. A heck of a lot more expensive as well. But I mean, I think it's a total savings, especially like for employees. We don't have enough parking spaces for employees at MIA.
So true.
37,000 employees at MIA. So Metro Rail, it gives you a great venue, to come and go.
Absolutely there. And hopefully now this new orange line will spur more expansion of Metro Rail. And I think hopefully it'll continue west. I know there was talk 3-4 years ago of having a line running from the airport adjacent to 836 and then going south and then having a station end up at FIU. I don't know where those things are, those plans are at the moment, but there was a heavy talk about that 3-4 years ago.
Actually, longer than that when I was with the Florida DOT.
That's right.
20 years with the DOT. That was one of our flag projects. It's called the East-West.
Right.
However, heavy rail is very, very expensive.
It is. And
the federal government expects you to do everything you can with buses, dedicated lanes and things like that before going to heavy rail. But those plans, still have been approved, and it's just a matter of funding them. I think, though, that connecting the airport is a good start.
Absolutely. Now, you have another project just that was rolled out back on the 31st of July, and that's the new International Arrivals Facility.
Let me tell you, as you know, the North Terminal, we just couldn't build it and open it in one day it was there. It was actually a transitional or a gate-driven opening. And for sure, our Achilles heel was the federal inspection area, because it was really dated and under capacity for the kinds of volumes that we were experiencing. Just to tell you, we've had a lot of misconnect flights. Remember, 40% of all of our traffic connects. Don't want to come to Miami, but just connect in Miami. And it presented a challenge. With this new facility, things are getting better. The facility is about 85% open. The other 15, we're going to have to wait a few more months, because this whole construction of the North Terminal is being like retiling your bathroom.
I heard that comment from you a few years ago. I thought it was really, really good.
And so we have to take something out to build something in, and the best approach was to just opening facilities, even if it's partially, because frankly the old facility just couldn't handle. And it was the Achilles heel. I got a lot of complaints, and now we're doing so much better.
And I know that a big part of it had to do with your engineering background, but to see. Business didn't stop at the airport, and you would have, your counters and things like that. You didn't know that behind that they had all this construction going on there. Life went on, and someone didn't tell you that. You didn't know that was happening behind, door number 1, for instance.
It's amazing, because we've constructed checkpoints,
right.
TSA checkpoints, just to have them to remove them again a year and a half later, just to be able to maintain. Pete, imagine 130,000 passengers a day. And at the same time, building $40 million of construction a month. Let me tell you, it's a challenge of my life. And sometimes I thought
we were never going. Why you're ready to retire?
That's exactly correct. That's exactly correct. I need to walk the dogs or something. but I got to tell you, we're there. We're not technically, but mathematically, 96% finished, and that other 4% will be done by March. That
is phenomenal news, and again, congratulations to you and the whole team. And it's just we take for granted the airport because it's the airport, but the airport is if you really take a hard look at it, the transformation, and it's becoming we have nothing to envy any other airport in the world.
Right now, if the numbers keep holding up, we're going to go from the 19th busiest airport in the world to the 6th. If the number hold up. Certainly we're the number one in cargo for this nation and the only United States airport in the top 10 in the world in terms of cargo. But in terms of international traffic, only JFK is ahead of us. But we now overcame JFK on number of international flights. It's just that their planes are bigger, and therefore, in terms of actual passengers, they're a little bit ahead of us. I think it's an incredible story of reform. But Pete, I hear a lot. Comments like yours and people that do see the difference at the airport. There are others that, for whatever reason, let's face it, it's a hectic place. All I got to tell you is whether you love the airport or whether you love to hate the airport, both groups need to realize that we need the airport, because 1 out of every 4 jobs in Miami-Dade County has something to do with the airport.
Well, we just looked at the numbers on the impact locally in the economy here, and that's a whole topic right there about the numbers and the impact. So it's absolutely critical, and I have to tell you, because I've been in the Doral area for years in different industries, and recently with the Doral Business Council. There would be no Doral if not for the airport.
Well, I think there would be no airport if not for Doral as well.
Well, we're all working together. Exactly. But it created, that whole logistics, industry which gave birth to the city of Doral.
Well, it is my opinion that it was you're exactly right. You hit the nail on the head. Listen, you could duplicate runways in other airports. Panama is the country of Panama is trying to duplicate our cargo success, and certainly Atlanta wants to do the same thing. Unless you have a Doral by their airport,
right?
They're just not going to be as successful, because it's that synergy of the whole logistics and freight forward movement out of the Doral, in my opinion, that makes us number one in cargo. No question in my mind.
It's in the center of the county. It's actually perfectly positioned geographically, and so many good things. And the little bit of time that we have left here, Jose, with everything that you've done, obviously, and I'm thinking, okay, what's there left to do? I know there's some other things in the works. I don't know if you're at liberty to share anything today, but generally, where does the airport go from here?
That's a very good question. We definitely need to do something eventually with Central Terminal. As you know, we have a brand new South Terminal opened in 2007, and this one here is, for all practical purposes, finished too. So between the two, we handle 92% or so of our passengers. The other 8% still leaves in and out the Central Terminal, which, of course, somebody called it the other day an eyesore. I don't agree with that, but it certainly lacks the splendor, if you will, that the other two. The problem, Pete, is that we cannot keep doing things the way we've always done them. I tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly, and the bad and the ugly is that our debt service is high, and we can't just go into more debt for another $5 billion or so. That's what's going to take to redo the Central Terminal. So we're looking at other ways, such as P3, public-private partnerships. We do have some time. Our master plan shows that it'll be 2024 before we have to do something with the Central Terminal. So we have a bunch of opportunities for workshops with the private industry to see how that could be accomplished. In the meantime, we're also working with Airport City. I don't know if you heard that concept.
Absolutely.
Concept. We're trying
to do. That's what I'm saying. Tourist destination.
We're looking to do a 4-star hotel and a 3-star hotel I mean, let's face it, government actually created a market for hotels at the airport. And the reason is the DOT condemned most of those properties, starting with the Ramada Inn years ago to do the rental car facility and such. So, but all that should be done with private investment as opposed to the airport selling bonds.
Absolutely. Jose, you have my pledge. Anything I can do through the radio program to continue to promote and get the word out there and to create the awareness for these types of ideas. You have my pledge and my promise. I think this is, this is a gem, and it's getting, it's just getting larger and more sophisticated and really truly state of the art.
Thank you, Pete. You've always been there for me since the first day I got there. Thank you very much. The truth is that, it was a community effort, and we're, I don't know anyone that's been helped the way I have been helped in this county, and it's all because of folks like you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, my friend, and you are more than welcome to come back anytime you like to give us an update on things that are going on.
We'll do it.
Thanks, you, bud.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
We're going to go to a break, and then we will bring on the one and only Billy Talbert from the Greater Miami Conventions and Visitors Bureau. And Billy always has something up his sleeve, so we'll be back shortly.
We'll be right back with the Pete De La Torre Business Program, sponsored by Great Florida Bank, Esserman International, Community Newspapers, Titan America, and Holiday Inn Coral Gables.
Hi, I'm Pete De La Torre, host of the Renata's Business Hour show. Do you hate your bank? Don't care? Are you tired of never being able to contact your banker and getting charged a fee for almost everything you do? Always being in the back of the line? If so, you might want to listen to what I have to say about my bank, Great Florida Bank. Here I get personalized, concierge-style service. And now is a great time to sign up for Great Florida Bank's Merchant Services Mobile Credit Card Processing Solution. Their team will take a look at your processing needs, and if a mobile solution works for you, they'll give you a mobile card reader for free. If Great Florida Bank can't meet or beat your current processing rates, you'll receive $500. And I'm going to share one of Great Florida Bank's best-kept secrets. They never charge customers to use ATMs nationwide. Plus, if another bank charges you an ATM fee, they reimburse that ATM fee anywhere in the U.S. At Great Florida Bank, they take pride in offering personalized customer service and even give their customers their cell number. If you want a banking experience like mine, the Great Florida Bank Standard of Banking, call my personal banker, Obdulio Piedra, Great Florida Bank's Miami-Dade Market President. Call his cell, 305-514-6450, and tell Obdulio I sent you.
Today, everyone wants to be environmentally responsible, but you can't recycle your way to sustainability. Real sustainability goes far beyond recycling and requires us to consider the three competing factors at work in our world: the economy, the environment, and society. By choosing concrete as your preferred building and paving material, you will achieve sustainable results in all three areas. Concrete's durability allows homes and structures built with concrete or concrete block to withstand Florida's severe weather and keep your family safe within your financial means. Concrete roads and parking lots are also very affordable, have much cooler surface temperatures, and last 3 to 5 times longer than asphalt, providing a much higher value for the money on public projects funded with your tax dollars. Lastly, concrete pavements allow shorter stopping distance in both wet and dry conditions and are reflective, providing safer conditions and better visibility at night for both pedestrians and motorists while using less energy at a lower overall cost. Choose concrete, the material for life. A message from Titan America, one of Florida's leading cement and concrete manufacturers. Visit them at TitanAmerica.com or call them at 954-481-2800.
Forever Smile Dentistry is dedicated to serve patients in our community. Their state-of-the-art technology allows them to offer you and your family the highest level of care you're looking for. They will give you a warm welcome and ongoing commitment to your dental health and beauty. Dr. Amaral and her experienced team are committed to excellence by providing you with the highest quality and ethical treatment modern dentistry has to offer. They work with their patients so they can achieve and maintain a beautiful smile and healthier gums and teeth. They take the time with their patients to explain their treatment options and inform them of additional preventative care. They feel this will lead to a more trusting doctor-patient relationship and, for many people, relieve the stress about seeing a dentist. Have you ever dreamed of that perfect smile? Well, here is where your dreams come true. Visit their website, www.foreversmiledentistry.com. To make an appointment, call 305-274-0425. Welcome back to the Pete Della Torre Business Program, sponsored by Great Florida Bank, Esserman International, Community Newspapers, Titan America, and Holiday Inn Coral Gables.
Welcome back, my friends, to the Pete Della Torre Business Program's Power Hour. And a big heartfelt thanks to Jose Abreu from the airport. Just as you can see, an energetic guy, great guy. He's done a great job at the airport, just doing what they've done and all of the renovations and additions. And the good news just continues to come in. And so I thank Jose for coming out here today. And hopefully we will have him back soon. And speaking of good news, okay, and having a special guest come back, my next guest is almost becoming a regular on the show here, and just he is really the epitome of Miami and what we're doing here, and I cannot think of a better guy to talk about Miami and all the wonderful things that are going on here than my really good friend, Mr. Bill Talbert, the president, CEO of the Greater Miami Conventions Visitors Bureau. What is going on, my brother?
Well, it's you're right. Jose is a great leader, the finest airport director this community has ever
Absolutely.
had. We're very blessed to have him, and we work very closely with him. At the end of the day, the demand for travel to Miami has never been greater. You know, we talk about the number of visitors, and you talk about airport arrivals and hotels. At the end of the day, it's about the brand called Miami and its popularity globally. The world can't get enough of this place today. And with that said, all of the great cities in the world are investing in infrastructure. The multi-billion-dollar investment in Miami National Airport and the transportation connectors are critical to continuing growth, record growth in overnight visitors and tourism. And that's 90. I think we talk about this on every one of your shows, Pete. And thank you for inviting me back. And don't forget to send the check.
Well, did you notice your name on one of the parking spaces there?
Yeah,
Billy's spot.
Yeah, but we go way back. But it's unbelievable what's happening in this community. Record tourism, record overnight visitors, and the Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau, the destination sales and marketing company, we now have representatives in 38 countries. 97% of all of our visitors come to the airport.
Yes, indeed.
Come to the airport. And nearly 50% of our visitors aren't from the United States, the highest percentage of any destination in the United States by a factor of 2. 97% by the airport, basically 48% international. It just shows the tremendous strength and popularity in this word Miami.
Well, and it didn't hurt that our basketball team are world champs. That's another stimulus to the local economy, and all of that is really good stuff. And, we know we're still in challenging times. And
we're not. No, we're not in challenging times. Not at all. For the last 25 months, the hospitality industry in Greater Miami has added jobs. 25 straight months. Now, there are other sectors, and you have guests here that represent those, but travel and tourism has really been helping this community in terms of job get through these challenging times. But the world traveler, once again, can't get enough of Miami. They're staying longer. They're spending more. At the end of the day, travel and tourism is Miami's #1 employer.
And that includes not just for vacation, but business.
Business, too.
And
the Power Hour?
The Power Hour, of course. Medical tourism.
We at the Bureau have a very robust medical tourism program. We have a website for that. We have a collateral piece. We are partners with the major hospitals, and these are kind of niche markets, but a lot of folks are into medical tourism. But we have the beauty of location, and easy to get to. New airport, just a really strong plug for this rail, the Orange Line.
Oh, my God.
We were blessed to be on the first train, but it connects this new airport with this great new robust downtown Miami has today, just like the great cities of the world. Hooray.
Absolutely. Now, there is a major initiative that was rolled out in early May. As you well know, the One Community, One Goal initiative that was first rolled out back in the late 1990s, and it's through, of course, the leadership of the Beacon Council, Frank Nero, and a handful of other top-flight people, obviously yourself at the top of that list. We are now in a new ambitious program, and I think the goal at the end of all of this in 5 years is to produce an additional, putting aside the normal growth in the economy, 75,000 new jobs for Miami-Dade County. And obviously, what you do and your team is at the top of that list.
Well, the Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau is a partner and investor in the One Community, One Goal. Tri-chairs Adolfo Henriquez, Mayor Carlos Jimenez, and Alex Velox from Miami Herald. And we're very, very strong partner of that. The travel and tourism component is one of their goals, and I can tell you, I'm going to put in a plug now. That's one of the One Community, One Goal pillars. We have a newer, more competitive convention center was one of the OCOG, we call it OCOG,
yep.
One Community, One Goal priorities. And I can tell you with the support of the Beacon Council and a number of other of our business community partners, on August 14th, I'm going to do a shameless plug, the voters of Miami Beach will have a ballot initiative to
in the convention center
for the city commission to be authorized to levy up to 1% increase in the resort tax to help modernize and expand the Miami Beach Convention Center. And we're so excited about that initiative. Only the Miami Beach voters can vote on that, and we feel the entire business community has stepped forward. The Miami Beach Chamber, the Gay and Lesbian Chamber, the Latin Chamber, the Visitor and Convention Authority, the Greater Miami Beaches Hotel Association. No one has been against it. Why? Because it's critically needed, a One Community, One Goal critical project, and it's about jobs and economic activity in our community. The whole convention segment, we talk a lot about, Pete, about the vacation segment, but that's me. That's another. That's more good news coming in over the internet. So.
Well, what we want to have here is break. If it's something newsworthy, please
news,
let us know here.
More jobs and hospitality in Miami apparently.
There we go, my friends. right off the wires.
I can tell you that once again, 25 straight months, the hospitality industry has added jobs. We've added new hotels. You've got Museum Park under construction, this rail connector, and really one of the true emerging and dynamic downtowns in the world today, waterfront downtown. And what's gone on there, there were the condos, but at the end of the day, those buildings were never going to go away.
Of course not.
And this is one of the most robust, dynamic downtown waterfronts in the entire world today. And with that rail connector from a new airport, the future is extraordinarily bright for this community in terms of more jobs being added in our community, because we continue to get more visitors. They stay longer, they spend more, they're more likely to return, and it's all good. And I'll just match up quickly, because I'm sure I'm going to get the hook here in a second.
It's all right.
There are two or three things going forward that are important for your listeners to understand. There's a new convention bureau for the United States of America called Brand USA.
That's right. I heard that in your anniversary last year.
At our annual meeting. We are on that marketing committee. This is the first time the United States has ever promoted foreign travel into the U.S. No taxpayer money, only the foreign visitors pay for it. It has a $200 million budget to promote foreign travel to the U.S. As you heard Jose say, in terms of the flight, we're the number one international gateway to the United States. So people have to come to and through us to get to other places in the country. Once again, 48%, almost 50% of our visitors international. But that $200 million is an incremental spend that's not happening. And it's going to drive more business to this community, supporting more jobs. Go along with that. Visit Florida, the Convention Bureau for the state, the public-private partnership. Thanks to the governor and the legislature, and thank you to our local legislators as well as the governor, there was a significant increase in the Visit Florida budget, the bulk of it going into promoting foreign travel to Florida. Once again, this is one of the most popular destinations in the state and the world for foreign travel. So you put those two together and you go along with that. I'm wearing my button. Can your viewers see the button?
The viewers, we're about creating a real exciting, positive image here, and we promote things that I'm looking at right now, and I see the sticker. You can tell we're in campaign season here. Vote sí.
For a new and expanded and competitive convention center.
And you know something, Billy? I don't travel as much as you do, obviously, but I've been to other cities, and it's atrocious when you look at what we don't have in a convention center here compared to just Orlando, for instance.
It's an embarrassment, but the vote on next Tuesday, the 14th, up to one penny would raise up to $100 million bonding capacity, along with other county bonds, building better community monies, and some other dollars to make a real difference and to jumpstart this project. It was first built in 1956. You have the New World Center across from it, a Frank Gehry building. It's starting to look worse and worse. But to bridge on another good thing, and that's going to be a great thing, we're working with the entire business community to get visa waiver for visitors from Brazil, Argentina, Chile. But
you're giving us an update almost every week on your newsletter and what's going on.
We put in the newsletter 2 or 3 stories. We also give the wait time, and bravo to the administration. 6 months ago, in the 4 cities in Brazil, to process, which is a 3-minute interview, by the way, the average was about 103 days. Months to get a 3-minute interview. Today, on the internet, the State Department site, it averages 1 day in those 4 cities. And they're adding 2 cities, which is significant process in processing those applications. And, we are going to get visa waiver. Our entire delegation is for this. Everybody still has to be authorized to come in, authorized, even the visa waiver countries. Brazil is the number 5 economy in the world. They've got big events. They want us down there. We want them. Brazilians spend about $5,000 a person when they come in. They stay over a week. They bought the condos, and it's a very robust. They have full employment. There's no one overstaying a visit into the U.S. No one from Brazil, because they're all employed and they're rushing back to their industry jobs in Brazil. It is Miami's number 1 market. It's Florida's number 1 market. It's Disney's number 1 market. Everybody's on board, and it's. In 2010, as you know, right here on this show, we recognize that Brazil became Miami's first billion-dollar international market in 2010. Last year, Brazil became number 1 in terms of the number of visitors, and the increase in Brazil in the number of visitors and what they spend is double digits on double digits on double digits. The number 1 market. That's why we're very bullish on the future. Whether it's we're going to get visa waiver, the wait times are down. The economy is very robust there. Brand USA, Visit Florida, our more targeted dollars from the Convention Bureau now in 38 countries around the world.
Talk about branding. I mean,
now, can I put in a plug for Miami Spice and Spa?
Absolutely, my friend.
Am I running out of time?
Let's talk up Miami Spice. This is great, my friends.
I think most of your listeners are familiar with the Miami Spice program. We're now in our 11th year. The website, I Love Miami Spice. We've got 2 tiers now, 170 restaurants. All of August, all of September, all over the community. Look at this. We have double-sided And then we're actually in the final month of Miami Spa, MiamiSpaMonth.com. 50 of the top spas in this community, all the luxury, $99 for a $300 or $400. So you can do Miami Spa and then go to Miami Spice.
And have a great lunch or dinner.
And work it off.
And work it off, my friend.
But I can tell you we had a big event just last night at Bongos. Gloria came in via Skype, and it's 170 restaurants. Miami was the first community in the world to have a restaurant month. Well, Pete, you would say, Bill.
Talk about innovation, right?
Bill, everybody had weeks. So we decided back when with Steve Haas, our current board chair, restaurateur, says let's try a month. Oh, we can't do a month. Nobody does a month. That's exactly the point. Nobody does it. We've done it. We're in our 11th year. It's the most successful program. I can tell you many of our local restaurants, August, for instance, used to be month number 11. Mm-hmm. It is now month number 2 because of Spice.
And we're getting some more breaking news coming through, right?
Breaking news. We're going to pause for our sponsor, but these are 2 signature programs. We call them Miami Temptations. We have Spa and Spice, and we have now Miami Golf, Miami Live Music Month, Miami Attractions Month, Miami
Film
Museum Month, and thank you, Pete. That was you're actually reading our stuff, but we launched for the first time Miami Film Month this past year. Mm-hmm. I think we have a few months left, but yeah, Miami Film Month. We're very excited about all of these. We call them Temptations, Miami Temptations, but they're special monthly programs that target important sectors and members, and we're going to probably at the end of the day, during our lifetime, fill all 12 months up.
We're going to do it, and with an old Temptation song, it's just my imagination. This is not imagination, my friend.
It's a real deal.
Thank you for being out here,
Thank
buddy.
You, brother.
You're always welcome. Remember, the paint is still wet on your parking spot there, but your name will be ready.
Don't forget, Miami Beach voters, vote yes, punch number 502. Early voting now, and then we'll see you on the 14th for a more competitive convention center. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, my friend. We're going to go to a quick break, and then we'll bring on Wilson Alvarez from Welcome to Miami.
We'll be right back with the Pete De La Torre Business Program, sponsored by Great Florida Bank, Esserman International, Community Newspapers, Titan America, and Holiday Inn Coral Gables.
The newly renovated Holiday Inn Miami Coral Gables is centrally located in the heart of the upscale city of Coral Gables, on South Dixie Highway, across the University of Miami, and just 20 minutes from the Miami International Airport. When priorities turn from work to play, guests are central to everything, including great shopping, dining, and entertainment at Dayland Mall, the shops at Sunset Place, Coconut Grove, and Bayside Marketplace. The Miami Metro Rail is just a short walk across the street to get you to all these great attractions. All the attractions that make South Florida a favorite tourist destination are just around the corner, putting your guests within minutes to Para Jungle, Miami Sea Aquarium, Metro Zoo, and much more. For more information, please contact the sales department at 305-667-5611 or visit their website at www.hicoralgables.com. Holiday Inn Coral Gables.
Hi, I'm Pete De La Torre, host of the Renatus Business Hour show. Do you hate your bank? Don't care? Are you tired of never being able to contact your banker and getting charged a fee for almost everything you do? Always being in the back of the line? If so, you might want to listen to what I have to say about my bank, Great Florida Bank. Here I get personalized, concierge-style service. And now is a great time to sign up for Great Florida Bank's Merchant Services Mobile Credit Card Processing Solution. Their team will take a look at your processing needs, and if a mobile solution works for you, they'll give you a mobile card reader for free. If Great Florida Bank can't meet or beat your current processing rates, you'll receive $500. And I'm going to share one of Great Florida Bank's best-kept secrets. They never charge customers to use ATMs nationwide. Plus, if another bank charges you an ATM fee, they reimburse that ATM fee anywhere in the U.S. At Great Florida Bank, they take pride in offering personalized customer service and even give their customers their cell number. If you want a banking experience like mine, the Great Florida Bank Standard of Banking, call my personal banker, Obdulio Piedra, Great Florida Bank's Miami-Dade Market President. Call his cell, 305-514-6450, and tell Obdulio I sent you.
Welcome back to the Pete Della Torre Business Program, sponsored by Great Florida Bank, Esserman International, Community Newspapers, Titan America, and Holiday Inn Coral Gables.
Welcome back to the last part of the Pete Della Torre Business Program's Power Hour. Thank you again, Mr. Billy Talbert, the #1 sales guy for Miami globally. And if you tuned in, you can see why. Colorful guy, but really knows his stuff, and just a great friend. Great guy, great conversation, and we're just talking about the fact that we need to have him back again and again and again. Just give us the good news that he always professes. So thank you again, Billy, for being part of the show. Now it's my pleasure to bring on everyone that comes here is a friend, but Wilson I've known for a few years now, and this is a guy that's very innovative. You talk about technology and embracing what's happening in the world today, and a very, very creative guy with some great ideas, and that's something that we're going to talk about here today. Is it's a new concept called Welcome to Miami. And before we get into all of that, I want to officially welcome Wilson Alvarez. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, Pete, it's a pleasure to be here, and I do want to congratulate you on this great show. Congratulations. You're doing great.
Well, thank you very much. This really is, I really have fun doing this, and just the conversations I have with everybody and the feedback I'm getting is phenomenal, and we're going to continue to do this and continue to add more and more exciting things, and this is one particular example right here. So before we get into Welcome to Miami, tell us a little bit about yourself, man.
Well, my name is Wilson Alvarez, and I am an entrepreneur, a businessman that loves technology. I have been embracing it since 1991, and it's very interesting because I actually witnessed businessman going from a DOS computer to Windows. Can you imagine that?
That was like what, back in the Stone Age?
Yeah, I mean, just the fact that I went through that transition from keyboard to then keyboard and mouse. Believe it or not, that really was a huge thing, introducing the mouse into the business world. So it's been a great ride. And I'm still loving it, and I'm still enjoying it, and I'm looking forward to the future.
I got a question for you, technology. Are we getting to the day where we don't even have to type? We could just, direct, do this and that, just pointing at the machine.
I will tell you my vision. I wish I wish you could view it, but I'll try to do my best to explain it. Forget about keyboards. Every finger, you know how you have ASDF?
Right.
JKL : on your fingers, and your fingers know that. Mm-hmm. Eventually, you'll be able to do this type of gesture, and it'll know where to go.
Exactly.
So yeah, a keyboard's just going to be a thing of the past. It's just going to be based on finger movement, basically.
Well, like being a conductor, right?
Yeah. To some, no, and not even because you have face recognition now. You'll eventually have finger movement recognition. So. Eventually, believe me when I tell you, you will have no keyboard. It's just going to be basically movement, and also touchscreen is a big thing. The iPads, the tablets, I should say. That's really going to be the future of computing. Eventually, it's just going to be.
We're seeing it today.
Absolutely, yeah. Bill Talbert was here with his iPad, and he was going all over the place on the internet.
He was all over the world.
Yeah, yeah, basically. So,
well, tell me about Welcome to Miami. I just learned a little bit more about it a couple of weeks ago. You and I got together and we were chatting. And where did that all come from? What inspired you to do it, and what is it?
Well, Welcome to Miami. I'm going to take you back to 1997. In 1997. I'm a domain broker also, by the way. I have a large portfolio of domain names, which basically means that I buy industry-specific names. non-conflicting, with any companies, of course. And I purchased, one of the names that I purchased was Welcome to Miami, along with many other geographical specific names, like MiamiAccountants.com, MiamiSpringBreak.com, anything that had to do with Miami. I basically.
Thank God you didn't take my domain.
Yeah, right. But I basically, I guess, cornered the market within the Miami geographical area with domains. And what we've done is that we have very strategically created this website where it's going to not only be a directory, but it's going to be a community website so that the community itself could interact.
Well, I think your tagline is along the lines of buy local.
Buy local, sell local, and connect.
And connect.
Yes.
And I think that says it all right there.
Yeah, basically in a nutshell. And, it's very interesting because, again, it goes back to technology. And I'm going to take it all the way to Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs did a great thing with branding of the iPhone, and it was all about the iPhone and the iPad and the iTunes, that little marketing scheme that he created for the world to have. I also embraced that. So what we did is that we took that technology, if that's what we want to call it, and we put the I in front of every city, locally in South Florida. So when you go to iCoralGables.com, that's going to be Coral Gables community website.
Wow.
And when you go to iSouthMiami.com, iWest Kendall, etc., they're going to be community websites at a grassroots level, which is very different than Miami.com, which is also a community website, but it's literally a newspaper. You're not going to have the soccer tournament that's happening in your neck of the woods listed there. And in West Kendall, which is where I reside, that's what we're going to have. We're going to have not only sports events, but anything that's happening in your neck of the woods, we're going to put it in the appropriate community.
Well, this will enhance the terminology work, play, learn.
Yeah, that's great. Yes, absolutely.
And it who better to understand their community than the people that are residing in that community?
It's going to be, all of our websites are basically going to be powered by the people. I mean, we're going to have an advertising component to it because obviously if we get visitors to the site, that's going to attract advertisers, which is really what's going to feed us, and it's going to make the site grow.
Of course.
But the more community involvement we put into it, the more visitors come in, and that's our way of me going up to 880 The Biz as an example and tell them, advertise with us. Look how many visitors we have.
Correct.
So that's our business model, basically. It's an advertising model.
And how can you think? There's a lot of great business organizations, chambers of commerce, and all that. The way I see it, I don't know that this is a competitor to them. I think what it does is
absolutely not.
It complements what all these business organizations
absolutely.
are doing.
All of the great chambers out there, they basically target business, and it's great. And I do want to give a shout out to the Greater Miami Chamber because if it wasn't for them, Wilson Alvarez Consulting Group wouldn't probably be here. I mean, I joined in 1991, and they helped me flourish into what I am today. So I love the chambers. The chambers target businesses. They're what they call the B2B concept.
Correct.
They do business to business. Welcome to Miami is more of a B2C concept. It's a business to consumer product. What does that really mean? That means that the Starbucks cashier is going to benefit from the iPinecrest.com website as opposed to the local organization's website, because she's really not going to get much from that business organization.
She's not going to join the organization.
Exactly. She's not going to join.
A member. Correct.
Right. So that's probably the biggest difference. We love chambers, and we're a member of practically all chambers, as a matter of fact. welcometomiami.com, and we embrace them. We love them, but the target market that they're not reaching out to, we're going to be reaching out to.
Right, you will enhance
absolutely
their participation in their communities, and in the case of Greater Miami Chamber of Commerce, it's the Greater Miami area there. So,
right.
I like I said, we met a few weeks ago, and you were explaining this concept to me. And I know that we were trying to connect with each other. You were trying to get a hold of me, and it's just been impossible. But I just said, that's it. We're meeting. Let's get together and talk. And I was floored, because I just really believe that this is a something that is needed. This is, again, goes back to the spirit of collaboration, of people working together strategically for the betterment of everyone.
That's correct.
And that's the only way in this world that we're in today that any of us is really going to be successful.
Yep, I agree. I know that you live in West Kendall just like I live in West Kendall. And wouldn't it be great for you to know what's happening this weekend in West Kendall? The neighbors section, the Herald's neighbors section, great. It's a great newspaper, but they will publicize events, larger events. They want to have public relation companies, and they hire a public relation company to put an ad in the paper. Those companies are going to be listed in the neighbors. The smaller companies, the small restaurant that can afford a public relation company,
right,
is now going to be able to tap into welcometomiami.com to basically market them. We're going to put them in the community map.
For the benefit of the listeners, if they want to find out more, what is the best way for them to get a hold of you?
They can reach me through welcometomiami.com. There's a link there to email me, but my email is info, I-N-F-O, at welcometomiami.com.
My friend, we're going to have you back on the show.
Yes, absolutely.
Things are growing with Welcome to Miami, and I appreciate you coming out here, buddy.
Absolutely. It's great
I
to
know
be
you
here.
knew your way here. You used to do some good programs here on the radio station. So that is going to wrap up our program today, the Power Hour and the Pete Della Torre Business Program. Again, all of my guests have been terrific. I told you at the beginning of the hour at 10 a.m. that it was going to be a whopper type of a day, and it has. Again, for the second hour, my thanks to Jose Abreu, Billy Talbot, of course, Wilson Alvarez. One quick thing I want to mention to everybody. 2 weeks ago, we had Gary Goldfarb, who's Executive Vice President of WTDC, give us an overview now of the expansion of the foreign trade zones. Tomorrow at Port Miami at 2 p.m., there will be a rollout. This will be a great event from 2 to 2:30 that will officially roll out the expansion of the foreign trade zones in Miami-Dade County. For more information, you can RSVP at DOWENS, O-W-E-N-S, at miamidade.gov. And it has to happen, actually, in the next 2 minutes. So if you're interested in attending the ceremony, that will have Miami-Dade County Mayor Carlos Jimenez and the Department of Commerce Assistant Secretary for Import Administration, Paul Becuado. So great event tomorrow at Port Miami at 2 p.m. My friends, thank you for joining us for another show. We are on every Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. here on 880 a.m. The Biz. Thank you again for joining me today. Make it a great and profitable week. Take care.
Thank you for listening to the Pete Della Torre Business Program. Tune in again next Wednesday at 10 a.m. for more of the Pete Della Torre Business Program, sponsored by Great Florida Bank, Esserman International, Community Newspapers, Titan America, and Holiday Inn Coral Gables.